disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.
Welcome once again to another episode of Fists, Kicks, and Flicks, the podcast about martial arts, movies, and life. I am one of your hosts, Eugene Plowden, and with me as always, my podcast partner, Joe Hartley. What's up, man?
What's going on?
Angel Diaz will not be with us tonight. He has some prior obligations, so he won't be on. But if it's your first time with us, I want you to know we are members of the Martial Arts Center Network. On Mondays, you got the Winner Circle with myself, Angel Diaz, Isaiah Gatherings, and Chris Walker. On Tuesdays, you got the Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. Wednesdays, we got the Traditional Way with Brett Shumway. Thursdays is us, Fists, Kicks, and Flicks with Gene, Joe, and Angel. And then we have Super Flicks with myself and Joe on our own podcast and network. For more information, you can check us out on all of our social media platforms. Just look for the Martial Arts Center Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon. Joe, it's showtime. I did not think I was going to get that because it's just me and you tonight. Since Angel's not here, and I'm keep telling myself like this is not Super Flicks. This is not Super Flicks. Don't say Super. It's a totally different intro for Super Flicks. So I was like, man, and then having
you got 3 podcasts at least, so you're killing yourself.
Yeah. I'm having fun. You know, I told someone, it doesn't feel like I'm doing work or nothing like that because I would be doing this anyway, like having these type of conversations, like reviewing TV shows or reviewing movies or, you know, talking about martial arts. I do that anyway. So you might as well make content out of it because it doesn't feel like I'm doing anything abnormal, you know? So as long as you're doing, you know, activities and you have hobbies that you enjoy and it's stuff that you'll be doing anyway, it doesn't feel like work at all, you know? Only when I have to make the when I have to upload everything for Superflix. That's a little bit work and coming up with the thumbnails and all of that for Superflix. But other than that,
listen,
man,
my family, like they hit themselves in the head when people ask me a question about certain things because I talk. I'm a talker. So if you ask me about karate, they'll be like, "Oh man, okay, how much time do you got?" Or fantasy football, "Oh man," or movies. Like I love a bunch of. So if you ask me about a movie like that I like or I watch all the time or that I just watched, so my family's always like, "Oh, now you opened up. How much time you got?" He's gonna get talking. And so yeah, I mean, why not do a podcast? Because you know that I can have less to talk about with the rest of the people, which is wrong because I still talk about it all.
You know,
I don't care, man.
Melissa was
I like the stuff I like, and it's
Melissa
all good.
She says all you do is use your voice, and she ain't lying because hell, when I'm not doing these podcasts, you know, I'm working, and my job is to go into, you know, cell phone stores and talk to the owners, the managers, the salespeople, and train them and talk to them about promotions and marketing and helping drive business into their stores and creative ways for them to market their business, and then teaching karate classes in the evenings also. So yeah, so I'm always talking to someone at all times.
For sure. I mean, you know what? That's fine. It's a good skill to have, you know, to be able to talk. My dad always said it was that he passed down the gift to gab, you know, because my dad's the same way. My dad can talk to anybody about anything. He just was a friendly guy.
Were you like that in school?
I was a different person in school until like my last 2 years. I just kind of kept to myself, was kind of quiet. Had a few friends here and there, but unless I was around my friends, I really was just to myself.
Yeah, that's how I kind of was also. Like I wasn't. I mean, I didn't talk a lot, especially in elementary school. 5th and 6th grade, I did a little bit, and that's when me and James Garnett got to be real good friends. And then he came over and started training with us when we were in 5th and 6th grade. But for most of the time in school, no, I really wasn't talking. I was ready to get the hell out of there and go home. You know, most of the time.
That was the same thing for me, you know. But then Like outside of school, I was could talk to
Yeah,
anybody,
yeah, I
and
was different.
karate was the same. Just I had to be in a comfortable environment for the most
Yeah,
part.
yeah.
Now I've learned like you don't. I create my own comfortable environment. Like my wife
Mm.
will call me at work, and I'll talk to 10 different people sometimes. And she's like, "Who are you talking to?" I was like, "I don't know everybody." She's like, "Why are you that upbeat and friendly at 9 o'clock in the morning?" I'm like, "I'm just trying to make the best of my situation. I've got 20 years
No,
at this place, man. I
no,
gotta
man.
do the best I can."
I'm definitely not a morning person. Melissa is. She wakes up and starts talking. And I'm like, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, babe. Wait, let me wake up a little bit. I can't. I can't just wake up and start talking. Look what I just text you. I just text you something, man. But yeah, man,
Mhm.
she's a talker and I'm not. And she's a morning person and I'm not. I'm a night owl. She's an early bird and I'm a night owl.
I used to be a big morning person. I'm not so much anymore. Like I said, what am I looking at?
Okay, let me tell you something. So I got to the school. I got to the academy last week and I arrived and that's mail. That's how the mail carrier left the mail, right? They didn't put it in the mail slots.
I see
they,
that.
they left it on the ground, right? So I grabbed the mail. I'm like, man, what's wrong with this person? That's not even my mail. That's mail for other businesses, right?
Okay.
Now, this is about the third or fourth time this mail carrier has just left the mail there like that. And I was like, the other times I'm like, okay, this is the person next door. Let me take it over there next door. Or this person is down the street. Let me take it over there. So this is like the third or fourth time. But that mail right there that was left on the ground like that, that was important stuff. So I said, you know what? Let me nip this in the bud right now.
For
So
sure.
luckily, the post office is not far from my school. So I went over there and I showed the postmaster and gave her the mail and said, hey, look, this is not my stuff. This is, I was happy to do it for the person that's right next door, but I'm not about to go down the street delivering mail. Like this is not my job. Or across the street and down the street. I'm
Right?
not gonna, yeah, I'm not about to keep doing that. And I was like, I probably would have just taken the important stuff to the person um, but I see a pattern starting to happen, and I was like, this needs to stop, especially with these being important papers, because there were about 3 or 4 pieces of mail that were really, really important to that business.
Yeah.
And that postmaster was not happy. And when I left, I was like, damn, I might have just got somebody fired. That's
Nah, they'll be all right. It's all union. They might
okay.
get reprimanded, but they'll be all right.
Okay, good. And then the second thing I was wondering, I was like, man, I wonder are they going to tell them that it was my school? Am I going to stop getting mail to my school now? Because I'm quite sure they're going to say, "Hey, this you dropped the stuff at this karate academy."
You're gonna
Like,
get like dead squirrels and snake heads, and he's gonna put them in the mail slot this time. Don't put the mail in the mail slot, just the bad stuff.
yeah. See, if stuff like that start happening, then I might have to start being at my academy in the afternoon time and just wait around and catch the mail person when they show up and say, "Hey, we need to have a talk. Why don't you come in here to the school? Come on, nobody else here. It's me. You come on in
Right?
here."
Oh man, man. I'm not gonna say where this happened because it's a really good story, but I'll tell you afterwards.
Mhm.
So a while back I was in the winter and I was at one of my buddies' schools, and it was we afterwards it was just a bunch of us, and we were talking, and one of his students she was 25, 26, 20. She might have been in her 30s. I don't even remember. It's not important to the story. Walks out and walks back in and says, these kids are outside throwing snowballs and stuff. Like, and one of them hit my car, busted her car up and everything like that. So we all went out. It was me, my brother, and a couple other people with the school, and went out and we said something. And they were teenagers, and
Mhm.
we said something, and we may have threatened some things. And not even, I'd say 20 minutes later, a big old truck pulls up, and I'm
Mhm.
talking about a real big, and I'm just gonna say country guy instead
Oh,
of what
I
I want to
understand what
say.
you mean. I understand what you
He
mean.
gets out, and he's like, this must have been his brother and their friends, and
Mhm.
is ready. He wants blood. He's like, he's coming, and slowly but surely, one, 2, 3, 4, 5 black belts walk out. And he's like looking around. And then he kind of looks up and he sees a karate school. And then he's like, you know what? I didn't get your guys' name. What's going on? What happened here? And we started explaining to him what happened. And then he looked back at his brothers and friends and he was like, what the hell you all get me into? He's like, you know what? Y'all have a nice day. And he got back in his truck. And I just was, you could see like everything in slow motion in his mind. Just like, at first he was like ready to hurt people. And when he saw like 3 people and he was bigger than all of us, but then he slowly started putting the pieces together and he was like, nah, I don't want this smoke.
Yeah, that could have been a bad day for that guy, you know.
And it was it was so funny because we were just laughing. We were like, man, we didn't even have to do nothing.
Just like it was a bad day that one time when that guy was at my uncle's school and broke into what's his name's truck.
Russ,
and Russ's truck. And you know, I had just left the
There
school.
There was two of them.
Oh, there was. I never heard about this. The second guy didn't do anything, huh? Because I never heard about
I think it was only one who started it, but they both got it because
they both got
it. They both got it.
Yeah.
One got cracked over the head, and the other got a 2-piece. So.
Yeah. I heard about that. Ski called me right after it happened. Like, man, you just missed it, man. I was like, what? And he said, told me what happened, and I was like, oh man. Like,
I'll never forget that.
Detroit? Why would you come to Detroit and break into someone's car at a karate academy? Like, you picked the wrong location, especially with our group of guys.
They learned. Dude, the one that got him was like 14.
Yeah.
I'll tell you afterwards because you probably already know. But yeah, that's the craziest part.
I'm talking, our main ganger. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I was like, dang. Yeah. Man, I could go. I got some of the best stories and all this, just karate stories.
Yeah. So how you been, man? What's going on?
You know, I say this all the time, and I know, you guys know this, but for the people that don't, May is my busiest month. May is insane. You know, like I'm enjoying Star Wars Day today. I watched a couple of, episodes, some of my favorites. Then tomorrow is my anniversary, 18 years.
Happy anniversary. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, that's on Monday, Cinco de Mayo.
Okay.
So, I don't know. We haven't really planned anything for that. You know what? So the place that my wife fell in love with, I think it was May 5th, and I think it was like the other day was like the following week. So it's just what we picked. You know, it was easy because it was close to my birthday. That's the other thing. I got my birthday on the 9th, my son's birthday on the 18th, and Comic-Con on the 17th. So and then my sister's birthday is in there, and what else? Memorial Day. So it's just bang, 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 one after another. And then my son's my son's play is on my birthday weekend, so it's that Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What didn't I say?
So you don't go to Free Comic Book Day, huh?
When's that?
That is you never heard of that?
No.
That is the first Saturday of every May. First Saturday every May. Yeah, you can go to a comic book store and they have comic books that you can get for free. So all the major publishers.
So yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
Dang.
And well, a lot of times, a lot of those comics that people did not get are still available. You can still go into a comic book store and just go grab some free ones. My dad got a couple.
There's one right by me. Yeah, there's one right by me.
Yeah, so you can swing by there tomorrow. They'll probably have some. It says it right on the comic, like free comic book day comics. And that's just to get people to keep reading comics and come in and get some free ones, and because the comic book industry it's not doing like how it used to do. Most of the people, like, you don't have a lot of kids now reading a lot of the traditional comics. A lot of kids like manga comics. That's still kind of popular with them, but the traditional Spider-Man, X-Men, Fantastic Four books, Avengers, they're not real popular with kids right now, and they're trying to change that. But I'm not sure it's working really. Um,
They could take a comic and turn it to manga.
oh, and they have done that. I'm not sure those. I'm not sure they read them though. I've literally seen kids like in bookstores like Barnes and Noble. I've seen them reading manga books. They got a whole section in Barnes and Noble, and I've
Yeah,
seen those kids reading those books. But I don't see kids walking around with a Spider-Man comic anymore
I
or
know.
anything like that. And I take Braylon, I take him to the comic book store all the time and try and get him to
Well,
pick something.
plus these kids nowadays are spoiled because they got the movies, so they think, "Oh, I just saw all the movies, so I know everything."
But I would think that would make them want more content, and I mean, there's a bunch of storylines you can read now. If you like the Spider-Man movie, pick up one of these books and read them. There's a bunch of different storylines out there. I mean, hell, I mean, it's been going on since the '60s.
I
So it's
know.
it's it's, it's a lot of storylines that these kids can get into and read, and it's the same with the X-Men and Batman, Superman, all of them. So my son knows who they are, but he doesn't really have a famous one, or one that he really likes. He likes Wimpy Kid, Diary of a Wimpy Kid. So he has all of those books. Dog Man, he has all of those books
Yeah,
also.
my son was into all that. I don't know if he still is. He might be.
Right now, starting tomorrow, me and Braylon are going to start reading Bone together. Have you ever read that book,
Okay,
Bone? You ever
a
read
long
that?
time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have up here on my shelf right here. That's the whole collection. This big book right here, man.
Dang.
Yeah. So Bray, let me show you how. You ever seen this?
No.
Look how thick this
Oh,
book
yeah.
is.
All right.
Yeah. So Jeff
Yeah,
Smith,
that's
he spent 13 years creating a story. So it's not like a normal, comic book where Spider-Man has been going on for 60 years. No, Bone has a beginning, middle, and end, and that's just the end of it. So that's what that book is. So me and Braylon, I didn't get him this. I've had this for a long time, but I got him the first. I got him the graphic novel of the first 6 books or whatever
okay.
comic books. And I told him, I said, we're gonna start reading this. I'm gonna call you. I'll read a page. You'll read a page. We'll just go back and forth, just to get him just reading comics and get him to read more, man. Because kids don't like to read now, so we gotta
No.
do what we can to encourage kids to read.
My kids download it on like Kindle and listen to it like an audiobook.
Okay, all right.
I'm just like, I mean, that's a start, but come on, you
Yeah,
got to read
exactly.
it.
It's a start. Now I got a bunch of digital comics, and I have subscriptions to Marvel Unlimited and whatever DC thing is called, DC Universe or DC Infinite or whatever. So but I get inspirations from those books, and it gives me story ideas and jokes and stuff to do for my own comics. So all right,
Yeah, I've
let's move.
enjoyed reading going back and reading your old gum capes.
Oh man, you know
And
what?
you could kind of pick the era and stuff too. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, thanks, man. I man, so Friday night I fell asleep maybe about 10 or 11 o'clock, and I woke up at 3:15 in the morning,
Dang.
and I stayed awake. Saturday, Melissa got up, and about 7 o'clock I was down here in my office, and I was building templates, comic pages templates. I made 30
Okay.
templates. So
Dang.
whenever, yeah, I just got to pull. Now I don't have to do it right before I draw it. I could just go into my folder. I made a folder for them. I could just pull out a template. Okay, this comic is going to be 6 panels or 8 panels or whatever, and I could just pull one out and just get to drawing. And she was like, "How long you been up?" And I said, "I've been up since 3:15. I could not go back to sleep. I made 30 of these damn things." So at least that part's done. I could just get to drawing now, man. But now the hard part is finding some uh, creative ideas. So, but I'm
Yeah,
gonna tell
for
you what a
sure.
secret is. A lot of times I listen, like when I go out and about in the street, I'm listening to other people's conversations and different things. And sometimes people say funny stuff, And then sometimes when it's not funny, I think of ways to make that conversation funny, and then I just rewrite it, and there you go. That's it.
Perfect.
So. But yeah, man, it's been
What you been
fun
up to,
for
man?
myself too. Getting all those comics up on the website, redoing the website,
Heck
looking
yeah.
at my stats of the website, man, and getting all that taken care of. So I'm happy with that. But having those comics on my website now have jumped up my website's visitors.
Okay.
So normally before I had the comics on there, I would get maybe 60 to 70, 80 visitors to my website a month. Last month I had almost 400 people visit the site. And
Nice.
that's just from redoing the site, putting the comics up, and doing some SEO, and it just kind of really took off for me last month. So I'm gonna keep that going. Coming up with different topics to write about, man. Because just Jump Kick won't be the only comic strip that'll be up on the website. I got two others that'll be up there pretty soon, also. So I'm just staying busy, staying active, man. Exercising my mind. That's pretty much it, man. And having fun watching these damn movies, man.
Right?
I had to stop myself from going right into the next episode of Warrior. Also, after I watched episodes 5 and 6, I was like, man, I
Oh,
want to
it's
see what
about to
happens
get
next.
real crazy. This whole season gets crazy and then leads into even crazier.
Mm.
And then the way they end it was so like you're like, okay, we need another season. And then I remember exactly like waiting and then reading and looking and reading and looking and then seeing they canceled it. And I was like, okay. And then you go, okay, now it's on Netflix. Well, there was a time where Netflix was gonna revive it, and then they didn't.
You've been watching this on Netflix?
Yeah, I've been watching this on Netflix.
I haven't been watching it on Netflix. I've been watching it on Max.
Max. That's where
Hmm.
I first watched it.
Okay.
But when I'm watching it, when can watch it at work, for some reason Max won't let me double tap my headphones.
Hmm.
So like if somebody comes and needs to talk to me at work and I go like this, I can't do it right away. So it's easier
Gotcha.
on Netflix.
Gotcha.
Plus I'm
Gotcha.
watching a million other things on Netflix right now.
Okay.
Um yeah, but so the way this ends, like we need a last season. At least one last season. I'd like
Hmm.
more than one, but a last season would be so epic. I really hope somehow, some way, somebody picks it up.
So I'm assuming when they end this series, they're kind of ending it on a cliffhanger. Then.
More or less, yeah. They
Okay.
resolve one issue, but it's an issue that becomes a cliffhanger, more or less.
Mm. I hate when shows do that. I really do. Yeah, man. And these streaming platforms now don't guarantee that you're going to have another season. So
That's the problem.
I would think it's kind of hard to write some of these, especially if you have a longer, plan idea. It has to make it difficult if you don't know if you're going to get a second season or a third season or whatever. You
Did
know.
you watch Heels?
No, I saw the first 2 or 3 episodes. And I just never got back to it. There was nothing wrong with it. I just never got right back to it.
Great show, 2 seasons, ends on same thing. Ends, they didn't pick it back up.
Yeah, yeah.
Pissed. So I love that show. It was a good show, very well done, good actors. Stupid.
Hmm. You know what? I only really see that type of stuff happening on the streaming platforms. I'm not seeing that on network television or on stuff like HBO or Stars. Those.
Network television has a lot of stuff that doesn't. Like my mom and I, we are very notorious for starting like in September when they run all the new shows. Like we'll pick up like three that we like,
Mhm.
and we'll talk about them, and we'll get into them, and then we'll be like, "Oh yeah, that was really good," and then they'll be like, "Oh yeah, it got canceled," and I
But
get
but are,
pissed.
are they sitcoms or are they like
No,
shows
they're
that are like
hour long like
dramas?
dramas,
But
crime
do
drama, stuff like that.
but do they end? But to me, those type of shows don't. Do they typically end on a cliffhanger?
No,
Yeah, they kind of wrap it up.
Some do,
yeah.
but most of the time they don't.
Right, right. So I mean, network television it's a little bit. You just, oh man, it's almost like when these people sign these deals with these streaming services, it's almost like they should, you know, see if they can put in the contract like, let's guarantee this for 3 or 4 seasons. After the first season, if the first season is successful, let's extend this, for 3 or 4 seasons to, 3 or 4, so we can write it out properly. Because you
Yeah,
might not be able to get in everything. You might have a secret, something that you're leaving breadcrumbs in for season one that's going to make more sense when you get to season three. But
but
if you don't get the chance to get to season three, then that's the breadcrumbs aren't going to make any sense.
I wonder what the idea of success is for something like Showtime and HBO and Max, because I feel like they cancel things a lot more than some of these other things. Because like
Hmm.
CW, if you got 2 million people to watch a CW series, that stuff could last for 10 years.
Hmm.
But
And it has.
on CBS, if something doesn't grab 10 million people, they cancel it.
Hmm.
So I really do wonder for all these networks. By the way, a network that people are paying for. So what are you
Hmm.
so worried about? Why are you so worried about ratings? If I'm paying for the subscription,
I don't even. Yeah, you're right.
it's
You're right.
annoying because I'm
Hmm.
like, just if your subscriptions are high, just keep some of these shows going until, or at least end them on something. That's
I
just,
don't know.
I don't know how this stuff runs. So
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's because of the bandwidth. They need some shows to go off so they have room to put other shows on. Um, I don't know, man. It's all a mystery. All of this stuff now is a
or
mystery.
sometimes they let shows go too long.
Hmm.
They go past their expiration, and then you hate the last couple of seasons, but you watch it because you're addicted.
Hmm. Well,
I've done that before.
a lot of times when shows start getting weird and bad is when a major character is gone and then they bring someone else in that's kind of like that person, or when a damn kid shows up, in one season the kid is a baby and then the next season the kid is a wisecracking 5-year-old, with
Yep.
all the jokes. you know that's when shows start to get bad and they're gonna be out of here pretty soon when those things happen.
When
So
they're getting desperate.
yeah, yeah, trying to keep people around. Me and Melissa were talking about this the other day. We were saying we were trying to figure out what TV shows that we watched in the 80s and 90s did not bring a little kid in at some point. And we went through all the shows, like damn near every damn show we watched back in the day. If they were around for 8 years, around season 6 or 7, a little kid was going to show up because the little kid that originally starred in the show is now older now. They're not the little kid anymore. Now they're like,
Yep.
12, 13, 14 years old now. So it's like we got to get another little kid in here, you know. And all of the shows like that we talked about, like Growing Pains, The Cosby Show, Step by Step, Family Man, like all those damn shows, they bring a kid in, a little kid in the Fresh Prince at some point in time.
Yep.
So at least the family type shows, not so much like Martin or Living Single or some of those other shows that were more adult
Oh,
focused.
those are such good shows.
Yeah. So let's talk about Warrior, man.
All right, these were two pretty good episodes because they lead into like the meat of this whole season. So,
Okay.
which is basically the next episode and the rest of the stuff. So, we're at this point where uh Assam is kind of asserting himself over Mei Ling. And so he's kind of using young June as a bit of a puppet, and in hopes that that they can make enough money and then Father June won't care. But as we know, that's gonna eventually blow up in his face. But this episode starts out with Lai Young. He's training. Mai Ling wakes up. and they're talking. She's not getting much sleep. So they talk about the fact that why isn't she sleeping? And he notices, he says to her, like,
Mm-hmm.
does it have to do with your brother? I mean, she ordered her brother's death.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, he didn't die, but he could have.
Yeah, he could have.
You know,
And how would
had
she would have lived with that?
it doesn't sound like I mean, she's living terribly right now with it, and he
Mm-hmm.
didn't even die. He just
Right.
almost died.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got guilt. And I mean, later on in the episode, she even shows just how horrified she was by it. And I mean, that's big because at one point she hates her brother, but she loves him.
Mm-hmm.
And the only
Now,
reason she hates him is because she blames him for having to marry this beast of a man back in China. But what choice did he have? He didn't really
right.
have a choice. It was either he dies or gives up his the guy after he killed her, he killed Assam, he probably would have just took the sister anyway.
You know what they needed to do with this? They should do this like they did with Cobra Kai because they've spoken on it, and we saw a quick little flashback. But Cobra Kai spent a lot of time going over Kreese's background and things that happened to him. They should do that with this part of the story because it's a little confusing as to what happened with Assam and his sister in China. You
No,
know,
that
like,
they've given the full story.
yeah, I mean, but like I don't remember it. Like, them talking about it is different than me seeing it. Like I remember what
Yeah,
happened with Kreese. I
yes.
remember a quick little flashback when he was young and he was training when Assam was training, but I don't remember anything else. I don't remember. I don't remember the conflict with the daughter with the sister. I remember she left, but they
So
didn't. They really didn't hit us with it.
the father had basically promised her to this terrible, horrifying person who was just a big, bad, mean, was gonna basically kill the dad and Assam in the first place. Assam wanted to stand up and save his sister from this guy, but he couldn't. He knew he would get killed, so he didn't fight him for his sister's honor.
Okay.
He basically just gave up and gave
Mm.
her over, and so she had to marry this beast of a man who treated her terribly. He beat her every day. He raped her every day. I mean, yes, technically they're married, but
Right.
in her mind, it wasn't consensual.
Right.
So yeah, that's what she's pissed about. She went through hell, and he did nothing about it. Is basically what she's saying.
So why did she mad at her father?
I guess she felt it was her brother, or it was her brother's job because the right after this happened, the dad set him up to be trained. So hopefully one day he could help and save his sister. But by the time he was trained enough to take care of this beast of a man, she had already fled to San Francisco. Now, I
Okay.
don't remember if they say anything about whether or not Assam did eventually go and kill this man before he went looking for his sister.
I don't remember them
Uh,
saying anything about that.
I really don't think it's mentioned ever again.
Okay.
So, then we get to after that we get to Bill. He's revving up his people to go and take out Zing in the
Mm.
Feng Hai, and that's with Chow.
Mhm.
Chow's got it all set up. He's going to make a weapons delivery. He's got he actually has Lai Young on his side for this. Who
Yeah, that was a surprise.
Yeah, I thought the same thing because we know for a fact Mai Ling doesn't she's not okay with that. So
Right.
this is his first time going against her because he's pretty much done everything she said.
Hmm.
They couldn't see eye to eye on this, and they couldn't come up with any compromise. So he just said, "Screw it, I'm just gonna go and help out with this."
Hmm. Yeah,
'Cause-
I actually thought I missed something. I was like, wait a minute, what's he doing here? Like, because he was in disguise at first, so I
yeah.
didn't realize who he was until he took the disguise. I, I knew he was someone. I thought it might have been Assam. I actually, uh,
So if you remember, um, the idea originally was he was gonna go and trash them to begin with. Then, uh, then Cho said, hey, give me a couple days.
Yeah.
We're going to set him up.
Right.
You can get a 2-for-1 deal. You can take out the Feng Hai and you can get your swordsman. So the idea is they can't figure out who the swordsman is who's killing everyone. So they're going to set Zing up and make him the swordsman. So that's, and I'm actually surprised that Lee is okay with this, because Lee is a man of honor, and this is kind of a dishonorable move because he's the one planting the sword.
Lee?
Lee Young.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the cop Lee. Okay.
No. Oh, the cop Lee, he doesn't know anything that's going on.
Right. That's what I was about to say. Yeah.
Suspect. He suspects, but he has no proof. Because they basically catch Zing red-handed, and it is all a little too sweet when they do it.
Yeah.
Penelope's cleaning up. She's trying to figure out how she's gonna keep the business going. She has a talk with Assam, and during her cleanup, she finds the opium they've been storing. So of course she feels betrayed. She's a little pissed off.
I wonder why he even admitted it.
What? Well, where else did it come from?
If I'm him, I could have said they could have been some rogue gang members that I didn't know they were doing that.
But his people were in the building too.
I'm talking about them. Oh,
gotcha.
His people. I would have said, hey, they were doing this on their own. They had a side business that we didn't know about, and this was theirs. That's why I would have lied. Because he's in a position where he doesn't want to have her on. He doesn't want to be on her bad side. So you got to try and keep her happy and good. And she looked like she's turning her back on him.
Well, she feels one, she's pissed because her place got blew up, so he didn't even do his job. In her eyes, that's what she said. You didn't, you're supposed to be protecting me. You didn't. But how could he know that there was a secret tunnel?
Yeah,
that they were gonna, and that, and of course, so technically, they're both wrong. But she's pissed because on top of that, he was using her for storage. The police chief goes and confronts Leary about blowing places up, which of course he has no proof, and Leary denies it. But Leary does come back at him kind of like, basically, if you guys weren't letting these politicians grease your palms, and you would start handing out these jobs to the hardworking Americans from Ireland, which is, that's the funniest thing about this whole thing. They're calling everyone else foreigners. You're a foreigner too.
Yeah. And I was wondering, like, why these politicians, everybody that's in a position of authority, the chief, the mayor, all these guys, why are they bowing out? I was wondering, like, why don't somebody just put a bullet in his head? Get him out of here. Like, he's done. He's out of here. You're causing too many problems.
That is easier said than done, though.
I guess so, but I mean, Leary can't. If they just put a gun on and shoot him in the head, that's it for him. That he can't survive that
one. What was is it Eliza that's saving all the girls?
I don't know that young lady's name.
I think her name's Eliza.
She kind of just came out of nowhere, also, man. I was like, they maybe I missed something.
I think her name is Eliza Pellington or something like that. But she brings a toy to where she's bringing all the girls.
It's not Nellie Davenport. Oh yeah, you're right. Eliza,
oh yeah.
No, you're right. Eliza Pendleton.
Okay,
yeah, you're right.
It might be Nellie. I don't remember. Anyhow, no, I think you're right. It is Nellie. Anyhow, she shows a toy the girls and this great big basically it's a wine vineyard, and how they're all happy. They have jobs. They get paid. They have room and board, food. And she asks her straight out, which I thought she already asked her this. Like, how were you able to afford all this? And she's like, her husband, who had passed away, left her some substantial amount of money. And that this is what she decided to do with it. And she tells a couple of horror stories of some of these women that she's found. And so a toy is kind of taken back. She doesn't know what to think,
What's this lady's end game? Is her job? Is her plan just to go around and ending whorehouses? Is that her plan? That's what I mean. Because like,
Well,
why else is she doing
it's
this?
not. She's not necessarily shutting down every single brothel. She's shutting
Right.
down the ones that are trafficking women
Okay.
from a young age. Because she doesn't shut down the toy. Because the
But a
toys,
toy was, but she was doing that also. Remember, like the girl that swings the swords, like she went and got her
yeah.
from some guys, So
Because she doesn't like. She doesn't. She like I said, the people that work for her, they want to be there. And
hmm
that's why the one when she's ready to leave, she lets her leave.
right.
She doesn't hurt her, try to tell her to stay or
hmm
anything like that. So her business is, not one. Now I'm sure Nelly would like her not to do that, but is so I think this is her trying to show her another way
Okay.
because they're talking about how these girls come to America for the American dream and then they're instantly treated poorly.
hmm
And the only reason the toy is on top is because she created a service that everybody enjoys. Otherwise, she would just be another, part of the brothel.
Right.
Oh, of course, Penelope's husband shows up, trying not to gloat, but
He was an
he's
asshole.
basically there to gloat and tell her to remind her that because she originally had the high ground legally, now he's reminding her that if you cannot fill the orders on time, then we can pull your contract and give it to someone else, which is
hmm
what he's been wanting to do anyway.
hmm Yeah. So she,
So,
she she said it would take about 4 to 6 weeks to get the building back up and running, and he was like, how are you going to process orders in that time also? And
yeah.
he was not extending it for her.
Oh, heck no. Of
He was
course he's
not
not.
giving her any type of leeway. So
Well,
looks
and
like
I
she's pretty
mean,
much gonna be done.
she's been a pain in the ass on his side, so he's kind of giving it back to her.
hmm And she can't even
Can't
sell
blame
the
him.
business now. She can't even sell the business now.
Nah, I mean, she wouldn't even get close to what she put into it. So,
hmm
um, Assam and Young Jun are talking about what to do next because now they're screwed.
hmm
Their product is gone. They don't have the chop, as they call it, the
hmm
money to go get more. And so Assam's original idea is to ask Captain Jack if he
Happy Jack.
Happy Jack if he can give him it on consignment, which he already said no. He's not going to
hmm
do that. This is you pay up front. So they got to come up with a different way to come up with this money. So they're talking and coming up with different ideas.
You know what I found
And
interesting is they didn't tell us how much money that they needed to get.
I thought when they made the first one, it was like 200 or something like that.
Oh, I don't know. I'm talking about because when they had it, you know, they were gonna have to sell that stuff and then take the profit and give it to Father June. So now that
Yeah,
they
they
don't,
got to pay out Father June and then keep on the side to get more.
yeah. So that's what I want to know. Like I was wondering what the total amount that they needed because I was like, it's it's not like they could just go dig in their pockets, go to the bank and get their own money and to cover it. So
Well, and that's what originally they were like, well, just take it out and then put it back. But Father June pays attention to the book, so he's going to know what's
hmm
missing.
yeah.
He's not, that's it's not going to work. Um, Nelly and Atoy get to talking, and um, some of the stuff that they talk about gets Atoy very emotional. It makes her think of her grandmother, and I guess she hasn't talked about her grandmother in a while. And of course, now they're getting closer, which you see in this. You already saw this from the beginning. Like
Yeah, I
you
saw
could
it
tell
coming.
they were gonna get closer and closer. So they have a moment. They kiss. I think they eventually become lovers. I
And
don't
I was
remember for how
wondering,
long, if at all.
yeah, so I was wondering why did they have to shoehorn this into this overall story? Because I mean, was this just in there for perverts? Because this does not have to be in the movie. Like, I mean, the series. Like, I didn't see the point to having this. Like, okay, now She's a lesbian now. Okay. All right.
I don't know that Atoy has ever declared one way or another. I think she just goes with the flow. She
Yeah, but
likes who she likes.
yeah, I mean, because I just don't. It just seems like they're trying to fit that into the story just
Yes.
because that's the now thing to do. You know, it's like, come on now, like,
Just like the new Onion
yeah, yeah,
who
yeah,
enjoys a good egg roll.
yeah, exactly. You know, he's like, give me that duck sauce. Come on, you know, you know, it's like, come on now, like, why do this? You know.
So Cho shows up with the knives for the Feng Hai. And I'm sorry, but there is nothing that Cho did to make Zing think he was doing anything weird. But
No.
he acts like Cho's doing weird things. So he
Hmm.
basically forces his hand and tries to make him pick sides with this
Hmm.
weird milk ritual thing that they do, this
Hmm.
nasty drink.
Hmm.
And I mean, it just drives me nuts because I'm like, this should have all went off with a hitch. Because basically, the idea is Cho's supposed to come in, sell the weapons. He's got his two inside guys, that we
Hmm.
we didn't know about until we did, and then he's supposed to signal Bill and his police, and they're gonna take him out,
Yeah.
set
So
up
him
Zing,
coming,
and
yeah,
everything's gonna be fine.
he was supposed to come outside. That was the signal when Child left, and they were supposed to go in.
But that all went poorly because for whatever reason, Zing figured out Chow was up to something because he's just got the third eye, I guess. I don't know.
You know, he did
And
this to Bill also. He kind of, but
yeah,
you know, he gave him extra money. Bill was like, you know, he had to take it. He didn't want it at first, but he had to take it. Now, Child did not take the extra money, and he told him
but
no.
Chow didn't do anything that was suspicious. Chow said, I don't choose sides, I'm neutral.
Hmm.
So that shouldn't have given anything. Chow's always been neutral.
But to me, it seemed like Zing is the type of person that you don't turn down when he offers you
Oh, of
something.
course. He's
You
definitely
have
that
to,
way.
yeah, you have to accept whatever he says.
100%. But so they start roughing him up. But let me tell you, man, I didn't realize Chow could fight.
I said the
I
same thing
mean,
because
it was
they never,
uneven. The odds were uneven, but he's he's uh resourceful.
yeah, they never showed us anything to make us believe that Child could fight.
Nah.
You know, so
But when he's fighting for his life, man, that dude, I mean, he was taking people out left and right. And then
hmm,
of course, he's sneaky though. So you knew he was gonna be sneaky. I thought
hmm,
he had a blade like up his sleeve. Nah, man, he had a little pistol. And he
yeah,
had one up both
yeah, too,
sleeves.
yeah, yeah, too, yeah, hmm,
Which was good because one, he took out two people that were trying to kill him, but two, when those two guns went off, that signaled Bill to finally come in. Otherwise, Chow would have been dead
yeah, yeah,
because Lee Yong was not going to be able to save him because Zing's people found the people that they were killing while all this is going on, and while they were
hmm,
setting up the sword, while they were
yeah,
planting the sword. And then Bill and his people come in. And I mean, they come in guns ablazing. I'll tell you who impressed me in this fight, though. Lee.
Lee, yeah, Lee.
Lee thinks he's a cowboy.
Yeah, Lee's fucked up in the head. I'm just gonna say it's his
No,
head,
he
man.
is. But have you ever seen anybody load and reload a shotgun like that?
No, no, no.
The way he was
But
flipping it?
once again, Lee was in, you know, he was in the Civil War, so he is a soldier.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't
He's
even
just
think
not
about
some,
that.
yeah,
I
he's just
forgot
not some
about that. Yeah.
brawler. You know, he's a soldier. So of course he's going to know how to fight and reload those weapons and
I'm just
maneuver.
saying, if there was a kill count, I think Lee got the bet because I don't think Bill really killed but two people. Lee
Yeah.
took out like 12.
I actually thought Lee had got stabbed earlier because we saw a officer get stabbed, and I thought Bill said Lee when that happened. So I was like, oh
Oh
man, so
yeah.
he got stabbed. But then I saw him later on fighting. I was like, well, maybe that wasn't him. That was just someone else.
No, that was someone else. He only lost Bill only lost one guy.
Yeah,
One or two, but nobody that was important to the story.
right.
I didn't realize. Well, I did realize. I never have we seen Zing fight ever.
I
I mean,
think
other
so.
than ordering people to kill people, I don't think he's really actually fought
I
on his own.
I thought didn't man. I want to say was it? Didn't we see him fight some young Tong?
Oh, yeah, yep.
Yeah,
Okay, you're right.
that when that thing happened, that was. But that other than that, that was it.
Well, it was just funny to me because he acted like he could hang with Lee Yong, and he
Hmm.
could.
Hmm.
Like I was kind of shocked. I was like, okay, this guy knows what. In fact, I think he. I mean, he cheated a little bit, but I think he won that fight before he got shot in the shoulder.
Yeah, he was getting the best of him.
I mean, but we know Lee Young can take a punch and come back because Assam had him dead to rights before, and all of a sudden he started doing
Hmm.
his
Yep.
breathing exercises and he took over. But
Hmm.
yeah, he could fight, but too bad the odds were stacked against him because they took him out, set him up. Not only did they put a sword that would fit the description of the sword that was being used, but they also had a watch
Yeah,
that was
that belonged
pocket
to one of the
watch.
guys that one of the
Yeah,
guys
from
that was
the
killed.
earlier. So yeah, they set him up real good, and Bill's on cloud nine. He's got his swordsman. He took out the competition for the most part. The only
Hmm.
person who's a little pissed off is Mai Ling. She's pissed that Li Yong went
And
behind her
Lee,
back. Oh yeah,
Lee's
Lee's not
not real
happy.
happy. Yeah.
Well, but Lee has suspicions, but he has no
Yes.
proof.
Right.
He
Exactly.
basically
He
says
thought
this
everything
is,
happened was a little bit too perfect.
and he's right.
Right.
But good luck proving it.
Hmm.
So, yeah, Mylene is very pissed off. She's, everything's. The funny thing is, everything's not going the way she wanted it to. She needed that alliance to stay, but
Mm.
this is kind of what Buckley wanted. So Buckley is probably going to be happy. We didn't see him in any of these episodes, but I'm kind of wondering, like, what Buckley's thinking.
Mm. Yeah. Hmm.
And Cho goes and grabs his child,
Yeah. Yes. And I never
and
realized that woman was a prostitute. I didn't even know that.
I kind of assume, but yeah.
Well, we only saw her that one
So
other scene, and I didn't know. I just thought she was just some woman that was working on a farm. That's all I thought.
I know, but I mean, rarely do you see the two getting together from each side, the ducks and um the Asians.
Hmm.
So usually that's the only way it happens, I think. So although he
Mm.
probably was in love with her, it seemed like, but
Yeah, it
he
did.
took the
It
he
did.
wants his daughter. He basically says his daughter looks white, so
Hmm.
she can have a better life. So he gives them over to Nellie, and Nellie says she thinks she has a family that looking for a child.
Right.
So, which is kind of terrible because now he won't get to see his child. Neither will the mom. But
Yeah, she didn't even fight. You know, he just kind of went over, took her, grabbed the little girl, and said somebody else needs to be raise her. She was chasing after, but then she just kind of stopped.
yeah, I mean, what was she gonna do though?
Nothing.
He was pretty freaked out. The end we see Assam fighting again in the pits, and afterwards his sister's there, and they have a what should be a heartwarming conversation, but it's more of her pouring her heart out, probably trying to get her brother to forgive her so she can sleep at night. But
Hmm.
he basically tells her to piss off,
Hmm. Yeah.
which again can't blame him.
Nope.
I mean, you did order my death.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
that didn't go in her favor. This next episode, which by the way, I completely forgot Michael Bisping was in this.
Oh yeah.
Until he popped up, I was like, "Oh crap! I totally forgot about that."
He was in something else, and he acted the exact same. I can't think of what
He
movie he was
always because he only knows how to do one thing: be
in.
himself. He doesn't know how to act. He just acts
Right.
himself. It was the Kickboxer remix
Okay. Okay.
with George St. Pierre.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, there's another thing he was in where he was a little different, but yeah, he acts exactly the same. He's just an animal with an accent. So the idea that Assam came up with to get the money, originally, why can't I think of her name ever?
Who else did he go to? Vega.
Vega.
He went to someone
Vega
else
off
also and asked for
talks.
some money. Was it a toy? Did he go to the toy ask her for some money?
Oh, he did ask a toy. Yes,
Yeah, he did.
she
And
she
she
wasn't
turned him
having
down.
it.
Yeah.
Well, she's not going. She's not going to piss off the tongs,
No, she's not going against Father June.
especially Father June.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
knows better.
Yeah.
So his last stitch effort is Vega mentioned a tournament, almost like a blood sport kind of tournament, and with the big prize money, $2,500. So the crazy part is, I don't remember her saying where it was, but it's in Mexico, where she's from.
Yeah. Yeah. She didn't say it.
I mean, they never really said exactly that it was Mexico, but it was Mexico.
Was it? I thought it was a border town that was close to
Yeah.
Mexico and close to the United States. So somewhere,
Yeah, she said it used to be Mexico, but
Okay, yeah.
after all these settlers came in and
Yeah.
then they deemed it California.
Yes,
Or
because that was
whatever.
their land. That it was her family's land that they were on.
So it's Assam, Youngjun, Vega, and I forget the egg roll boy's name.
Hong.
Hong. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's such a easy. Should have remembered that. They're all there. And yeah, I mean, this is literally basically it's a big rich dude who owns this whole thing, and he just likes to see different types of fighting. And we do. This is basically blood sport. We see capoeira, we see kung fu, we see Japanese and Chinese kung fu, and then Michael Bisping, obviously, he's like from England.
Now,
So we see all kinds of fighting.
did this confuse you? Because it confused the hell out of me. Because Vega tells Assam, "You're not fighting till tomorrow," so they're there watching the fights. And Michael Bisping has 3 fights this first day. Then the next day he fights again, and then Vega tells Assam, "Okay, you're fighting him next." And I'm thinking like this dude has had like 4 fights. What kind of tournament is this? Because it doesn't seem like it's set up right.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing.
Okay.
Why did you have 4 fights before Assam had 1?
Yeah, and he is his fights. That would have been like his fight.
Is it like? I mean, it's not like they have rankings.
I was wondering, was it like a round robin? That's what it kind of seemed like. The winner stays up, but after Assam and I don't even remember Michael Bisping's character's name, but after they fight, another 2 guys come up. So it's not like Assam is staying up fighting everybody like Michael Bisping was. It seemed like it kind of went to the tournament format after he beat Bisping.
Maybe this was just Bisping's 15 minutes of fame, so he wanted to get as much as he could. I don't know. I thought the same thing. I was wondering the same thing.
Now, this also was the first time that Youngjun sees Assam like fighting in competition, because they fought alongside one-on-one, and because I saw him getting hype as he was watching Assam fight.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, I guess this is his first time, because he knows that Assam has been doing these underground fights, but he's never gone with them and he's never seen him. So this is the first time he's seen Assam compete.
Right away, Youngjun kind of notices something between Vega and
Assam.
Vega and Assam, and he says something about it, and of course Assam blows it off. He's just like, no, it's just a business arrangement. And Youngjun tells him, like, he's like, okay, he's like, well, if something's gonna happen, it's gonna happen here. I know it. Like, he just, what are you, the opening of the legs for fortune teller? Like, what the hell, man? I mean, he wasn't wrong.
No,
so
he
I
wasn't.
guess
No, he wasn't wrong.
He's a savant in that manner.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny because I like all the Mexican culture in this.
Mm-hmm.
and I like, all the, the every table has a bottle of tequila and the food, and they're looking like, I don't know what this food is, but I'm gonna eat it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Meanwhile, we're like, dude, it's okay, a couple of burritos, some
Yeah.
tacos, you're good.
Yeah, enjoy yourself.
Chips and salsa.
Well, Hung was
Oh,
walking around eating. He's
yeah.
definitely he's eating a burrito. He that first scene, as soon as they got there, he was doing that.
Oh yeah. He's always eating or fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Right away when we see Rooker, the owner of this place, and his wife, Vega kind of gets a look on her face. And Assam notices it but doesn't say anything about it. So I don't know if he just assumed like she was worried about something, the fights or something, but he didn't say anything about it. And so right then and there, you're like, okay, something's going on here, but I guess we'll just have to wait and watch. And then he gives an announcement. They bring out the food, and they start the fight. Oh, they start the next the round of fights. Like I said, Assam's not in them, so he's just got to chill out and see what's going on. And the funny thing is, I would think that he would sit and watch his competition.
Mm-hmm. He's not worried about
But
it.
instead, he's, the next day he does, and he got into it with Bisbing's character, but that was it.
Yeah.
But he also watches Big Bang, and he realizes dude can fight.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's no slouch, but again, Assam cocky, he don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And he's off following Vega around, kind of seeing what she's up to. And again, I think he knows something's up, but he just goes with the flow because she's just saying, "Oh, I'm just looking at the everything. It's so beautiful here. It's so quiet. Blah 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 blah." Now, Bisbing's character is also not. He's not just finishing these fights. He's killing pretty much everybody that he fights.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was
And he has
kind of
a crew with
interesting.
him. He has a crew with him also.
Yeah, but none of them were fighting.
No, they weren't, but they were a little bit mad that Assam beat up Bisping. I mean, he just beat him with a roundhouse kick.
He did too.
That's it. He took him out with a roundhouse kick. That was it.
I thought it was gonna get I thought it was
up.
gonna go a little better than that.
Yeah, all that build up. Well, I guess hell, that was his fifth fucking fight. So I guess he was fatigued. He wasn't at 100%.
This is like lucha libre kind of rules. There's just one after another for him.
Yeah. And his boys were mad later on after the fight, and they're getting ready to jump Assam, and Hong sees this.
Yeah.
And it kind of, I didn't know what was going on because we see Assam, we see the guys, and we see Hong, and he's looking at them. But I didn't know if he was checking them out or not. Like, I didn't know
what I was wondering too. I was thinking the same thing.
What was going on? Because we see a scene like that earlier in the earlier episodes, and next thing you know, we see Hong with a guy. So this was kind of leading me to believe, like, does he see somebody he knows, or does he see somebody he likes? I didn't know what was happening at this point. And then Hong had to show us his skills again, with his little chain and blade.
Yeah, but he beat the crap out of these guys. But earlier, he was admiring those cowboy boots, of course.
Yes.
And he showed back up after this fight with some cowboy boots.
Yep. He got his boots. He wanted them.
That one made me laugh. Meanwhile, like you said, Assam didn't really pay attention to what's going on, but him and Vega, exactly like Young June said, and she's acting like she's not leaving. And she's telling him to stay. So again, something's going on here. But I guess we just gotta wait and find out. So based on Assam's fights, Rooker wants him to come to their house and have dinner. So, or have breakfast, I think it was. I can't remember. And
I think it was lunch.
So they start.
I think it was lunch. He wanted to meet him for lunch.
They're talking, and again, Vega's still kind of looking like a little crazy here. He introduces his bodyguard, who the bodyguards guys takes his job very, very serious.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is not serious enough because he's Rooker's telling a story, and he pulls out a gun and he tells a story about this gun. And Vega's like, you know what, this is a really nice gun. And she starts talking about the gun a little bit too much detail. And Rooker seems impressed. And she asks to see the gun. And the second, I remember when I saw this the first time. Now, I remembered it, of course. But I remember when I saw this the first time. Okay, she's going to kill this dude. Now, granted,
I didn't think that. I was wondering where this was going. This was a surprise.
Both times I've seen this, I'm like, oh, she's killing the guy. I didn't know how, but I knew she was. Because this guy tells a story about a gentleman who he basically had like a duel with, and how he had to do this and that and that. But the problem was he killed this gentleman whose land it was, married the daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and did all this in front of two daughters. Well, guess who the other daughter is? It's
His
Vega.
wife. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's her sister.
Yeah.
So she gets this gun in her hand. She tells the story how it really went down, how he murdered them, took the sister, and basically he starts to realize, and so does Sam, the bodyguard, starts to realize something's not right here. She has a bullet. Now, how did you not notice a bullet around her necklace?
I just assumed they probably thought it was just a pendant for the necklace.
Right? No, that bullet's been waiting for this dude. Mm-hmm. She slips it in there and shoots him right in the freaking head. Mm-hmm. Now Sam's pissed off, so Sam has to take care of him. And they're running around. They're fighting everybody. They go meet back up with their posse, and they're taking out everyone. The problem is,
imagine that? If my boy comes running to me and he has a bunch of people in there fight, we're fighting like, what the hell? Like what the hell's going on?
In a foreign town?
Right.
So Assam didn't even have time to explain this. Young June is pissed. He's like, what the hell? Now we're fighting for our lives. We have no money, and we're probably going to die. Thanks a lot. Mm-hmm. So this Rooker guy had the police on his payroll. Yeah. So Sam comes out. They eventually arrest all four of them, and they start to explain what the hell happened. And she's laughing. She's in they're in the quote unquote paddy wagon, literally a wagon, and she's laughing because she knows something. These are not real cops. These are people that she used to know. These are people that her sister knows, and she's laughing because she just got everything she wanted. Her land now goes to the sister, so her and her sister get their land back. The sister comes out, gives the money to Young June and Assam, and they're like, you got to get out of here before the real police show up.
Now hold on before you continue. I was wondering, how did she think she was going to be able to stay in this town? Like, why was she planning to leave with them? Because everybody knew that she was helping them fight and she was involved in it, and she was the one who killed Rooker. So why did she think she was going to be able to stay around?
The sister was in charge now instead of Rooker, so the sister would probably start giving back to the people. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but everybody seemed to love Rooker. Like, he seemed like he was the man. So yeah. I mean, she would have looked like the sister would have looked like she was involved also, which she was, but it would have looked like they both, set Rooker up. I don't think that town would have went for that, if Vega had went back.
No, I think you're right too, because it doesn't even matter, because Sam comes out and shoots Vega.
Yeah.
And
instantly
kills her.
She's gone.
And then Young June takes him out with the knife. But I mean, the damage is already done. The sister's yelling for a medic. But I'm like, no, your sister's dead. She just got shot in the heart. Like, she dead.
Yeah.
So, they head back. Of course, sad story, but they got what they came for. I kind of wanted to see the finals. There were some good fights that could have happened left. And
yeah, it was.
when the guys show back up to the Hopway, Father June's there and is like, you got some explaining to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Chinese are pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are messing around. You're not following my orders. Yeah, it's about to go down.
Yeah, one big mess. This whole episode, I was wondering, I was like, man, are they going to show what happened with Bill? Wait, what's going on? Because this whole episode was in this town in the fights.
Yep.
Like they did not go back and show you what happened with Bill and Chow and
they'll go back eventually.
And a toy. So I was like, man, they yeah, I figured they would.
They
but,
like to jump
do.
around
Mhm.
and focus on some of the storylines a little bit in one
Yeah.
episode, and then they'll show a couple more storylines. They like to do stuff like that. And I think this one was just more about Mexico. They wanted us to believe it was about the fighting, but then it became about Vega. Yeah, they always have. It was interesting the way they do that. Now, did we ever, just real quick, have we ever talked about the fact that, okay, I love Assam in this. I love the character that plays him. Have we ever talked about if this would be better, worse, or the same if it was Bruce Lee instead of
I don't think we ever talked about that. I think it, honestly, man, I think
do you
it's
think the
better.
character would be a lot different, or did they
Yeah.
kind of do a good job at portraying if it was Bruce Lee?
I think the character would be a lot different.
I do too.
I definitely do, because the writing back in the day is not as strong or as good as writing can be now. So I think I think it's better this way.
I agree. I think if Bruce Lee was like directing it, it would, and Assam, was still Assam, it would be pretty good. Just curious about that.
They kind of threw some Bruce Lee moves in this episode, or the last episode.
When he fought that guy that scratched him and he had the one on the one side, I thought he was gonna get the other one.
No, I'm not talking about Assam. I'm not talking about Assam. I'm talking about the guy from damn, I'm blanking on his name. Hold on.
From one of the other Tong?
Yeah, the one that's with his sister, Lee Young.
Oh yeah,
Some of his movements and stuff, he was doing some of the Bruce Lee body language that I saw when him and Zing were fighting. I said, okay, they still keeping Bruce Lee's spirit alive.
Wait until you see Assam with some nunchucks.
I can only imagine. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for episodes 5 and 6 of Warrior. So far, it's still a very good season. I'm enjoying it. Like I said, I wanted to watch after the way episode 6 ended. I did want to go right to 7 and 8, and I said, "Hold on,
you're good.
I gotta wait. I'm going to get confused, so I had to wait."
Oh yeah, you're gonna want to watch the next 2 for sure.
All right, and this week on Superflix, Joe and I are going to discuss Batman Forever. So
Gene's
that should
favorite.
that should be a fun one. Here we go. These next 2 Batman movies, man. I hope I can enjoy them. Like I said, I haven't watched these 2 movies in a while. I haven't seen Forever in a while, or I haven't seen Batman and Robin in a long time. So hopefully the writing is better than I remember. But I don't have faith in that. All right, man. You got anything else you want to talk about, or are you good?
Nah, man, I'm good.
All right, everyone. Stay safe, stay strong. We'll holler at you next week, and I will play our music.
Disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.